Okay, this is good. And last video, we do not have what's called our retail. You should put it, though it worked, but um, I myself have been having this experience of not putting our weight in my code, and it has not been good at all. And that has been making our code to kind of um having some error that we should not expect at all. So there is the last one that we need to look at is what's called login. So login is going to also have the feature, then rest on async. So then what we need to look into now is actually still validation first. It's very essential that in all our requests we validate our not just trust user, the end user. Not because even they are hacker, because my request from the integer, they will give you string or double what you are not expecting, and that can break your application. That's why I think we should find out again, should data, so that data I'm going to be expecting from user going to be equal to a dot validate. So I need to have the email. It's going to be email. We expect email from user to give us email. Now, and also this email is not just expected, it is required. Required. Then after all, you're going to have what is called password also. And this password is not confirmed, so we don't need to confirm, but it's also required. It's just required. Go there. Yeah. We already have this verified. So what we just need to do is to create something like this. So just like this, like this. So like this is what I need. Bam. User is equal to the user object dot where the field email is equal to the field that we collect from user. Should be data according to the email. Now dot first, just one of them. So this is I did a mistake again. I don't put our weight there. It's not a mistake, but you should just be careful. Is to check if the user that is there is equal to none. So if it is none, which means the user, so this also needs to have a weight here. So we need to return a rest dot JSON. So then we're going to have something called status first, then the MSG. Another thing is your message tag like this or your message key like this should be the same thing throughout your application. If you using one key, message needs to be user not found, right? User not found. And then there's another thing that we need to put in mind. Now, I just remember before we continue. So there's something called status code. Status code is the status of the request or the response. So anytime you are responding back to the caller, anybody that sent a request to you, there's a status code. That make the client to be aware of what is actually going on. Now, status code is this, and it is 404. Now, you can just come to 63 SN. So you can read through this. I guess yes, this is it. So you can read through this. So you can use this. So show this is often when it's successful. And then if you look at our code, when we are sending anything, it's giving us 200. Even when there is a range 200, okay, it's okay. So look at it here. So 200 is okay. So one is created. So anytime you use create, so one is created. Anytime you use so to use as separate. So as you are pressing user, like when you are registering, you just show one. If you are maybe just a normal request that is accepted, you use what's called 202. Now, where I'm going currently is this 44. Now, anytime you send something to the server and you could not see it, that will use 44. You use 400 for bad request, use 401 for unauthorized. So let's try to implement that in our application. Register this user. Now, first thing we can do is to check each user is verified. So if user that is verified, So it's verified now. This guy can be none. Let's say it's true. It is verified. So what I want or false, it is false or not true. Then say it is not true. So also it's going to be I'm not say intent. So it's not going to be this add request 400. Then I'm not that should that this user cannot log in unless it is verified. If it is now verified, this is verified. I'm going to say show you bar login is equal to us dot login. This is actually a good one. So we have email. So now this login actually works the same way the register works. It does it automatically. Everything that you need to do, everything is done there. So if I just say let's run back to the caller, so not to be login. So I have what's called a data login, just data that is there. You can call this also login data. And yeah, you want to call it login data. So now this makes sense. So what I'm going to do is going to be 200. This is 200 now. So what I need to do now is to come here and test our login. We are going to have duplicates. So I'm going to change this to login. So I'm going to change this to password. If you remember the password I used last time, it's only just a password like that. So I just come here and put password there. If I send it, okay. So then we need to change this to login. So if I try to send it now, it's not fun. Yeah, login is not fun. That's true. Though we written the logic here, our logic is working perfect, but we have not add what is called the part here. So this is the part here. So basically just uncomment it that way. Oh, sorry. Then this guy needs to be uncomment. I'm going to explain this later. So, but let's just comment. Let's test it again. So can you see it said Boolean can be subtitle of string. Then you are calling the string in user. The string is yeah, Boolean. Yeah, sorry. Now I just copied and paste last time. So what now? That so a none is subtitle of Boolean value. Okay, this is another error from this from user model here. So a non because it's a non-label value. So this guy also is non-label value. But this guy they are non-label value. They can be none. So now just need to come back to it, login, send it because yeah, self-verification needed. So let's come back to our verify OTP like this. So I'm going to come to our email. Now it's sent to me here. So I'm going to come here. So I will send it verify now. So let me check if I can log in. Yeah, can see I cannot log in. So can you see now there is something given to me. It's called token. And this is what we need. We need this guy to access some kind of endpoints. So I want to create something called me. I want to create me. I want to create a picture response. So this endpoint is going to need an authentication have a sync here. There's something called bearer token. I say print take dot bearer token. This is a token that we are talking about now. Okay, you need to come to Auth here and add a new on the you can say app dot. You can just call it get. So the auth dot dot me. So this is it. So what we are going to do now is that we're going to duplicate this also, and we're going to call it name. Now, me, we have something called a bearer token that we need to send. We are not sending any content because it's just a get request. That was called me. That is, if I send it now, I can say give me none. It give me none. But now, if I send something into the bearer here, and I put the token that we generated, now we log in here. We copy the token here, I'll paste it here. So if I come back here, I send it. Sorry, I'm logging in again. Should come to J here. This was supposed to paste it. Sorry. I'm not going to send it. And we don't have anything. Does it stop? It's not stopping, so we need to come back to our code. We just return what is called true. So also, Flint Dart can also take any kind of data. So let's run it again. If I press it like this, I can see it return back true to me. So Flint Dart can also take any kind of data, not mean that you must return the response back. So now what I'm not saying is that now you can see that there's a request comes in. Now we can actually decode it. Now let's decode it and see what's inside of it. So it says, I say final payload is equal to JWT or means JWT, yeah, and that's it. Dot dot. So now I need to put my own secret code. Now I don't need to use that if I use what is called auth because auth has already been managed for us. I just say auth verify token. So if I put the token here, which is request dot to parent token, so you know how that can be known. So I'm going to print out this data here, payload here. So this is going to just give us the user that owns this guy with this verify token that is there. So if I come back in, I send it. Now, when you give me the email of the user, give me last time the when it was created and expiring date. So this is going to be decoded by the front end. So if you look at it here like this, we have the ID of the user and the email, just add an email inside it. So now that's how to use this token. So now what we are going to do basically now, it's making sense now. Now what if you don't want to do this? You want to actually create this token yourself. So this is login from Flint Dart. Now we're going to create a login logic by ourselves and learn how authentication work properly. Token is equal to, then I want to generate the token. Now if I want to generate, I can use Flint JWT, Flint JWT, and we have secret code. So I'm just going to call env also, env, the key. So if you look at it here, so JW that is there is what Flint Dart itself is using, and we are going to use the same. This is what Flint Dart use to generate and verify their token in the background. So we are going to use it to generate our own token, generate token. Now we need to put the payload there. So what payload we generate? User. So I will just need to just take my basic token that I want to do. I say ID. It's going to be user dot ID. email user dot email, and this is okay for me. Now, since that's what it took since that's what Flint Dart itself generates for us. So what I'm going to have here is that I'm going to have what is called the user, which is first user user is going to have the user like this. So I have dot map, but it's going to work automatically from Flint Dart. So then we have what's from that thing called token. So this is how you generate it by yourself. So, but before that, we also need to check the email, the password of the user, if actually the password is actually correct. So we can check before we check the is verified. So let's just check before we, we verify, because we don't want another person to see if the user is verified or not because of password that is not correct. So we should check before it's verified. So I'm going to say if uh, the dots, there's something called arch. But maybe you are doing this with auth.login. We don't need that at all. So we need the password that users give to us, which is data according to the password. Then the action, which is user according user dot password. So now if this is not true, what are we going to do? We are going to say 400 also like this. I don't say 400 like this. Then we will say invalid create. So don't forget to add exclamation mark at the back. This exclamation mark is necessary. You must add it. If not, it won't work. It is not verified. After we try to verify if it is true, it's already correct. That is correct. You can go move forward if it's correct. But now, if it is not correct, now we're not turn to true. Now say not true. So not true is going to be forced to be here. So if it is true, it is. If it is true, we don't want to stop here. So we want to have not true. So it won't stop here. So if it is not true, we want to make it true so as to stop. That's why we have not hashing verify. When you try to verify it and it's not correct, it's going to turn it to true. Yeah. This is not automatically a tweet by yourself. Now if I try to log in also, the data might be different in a kind. This one has data, then yes, it's correct, it's the same thing. So if I try to log in again, yeah, guys, it has given me this, a new one. So let me copy it. So if I come back to this place, I press it, I send it. So you can see it give me the same. But now let me add to it so you can understand that church is something different. So I had what is called first name user dot first name. So I get this. So I will also save there. So if I come back in, if I try to log in again, so I can just copy this guy now. So I come back in. So you can see just add the Victor inside of it. So that is how we generate the token. So basically now this verify here also, we are this part is managed from Flint. These are the raw data that they create for us to use. So I can also just say Flint JW2. So it's expected for me to give it what's called env. So this is the same data that is here. It must be the same data for you to be able to decode it. That's why they cannot decode outside your application unless they have the AWS secret. Now, this is also going to do it. Yeah, it's going to do it. So I say so do it. So that's how you can I want to say something. I say after I got the payload, we have the ID. I want to say user, say final user is equal to user dot find. So I'm going to say payload according to the ID. So then if user is not none, it's equal to none, that shows that a zero. I'm going to return back something like this. I say status false. Then I'm going to say unauthorized. But I want to actually send another thing the request. So I mean just need to say rec rs dot json. So we can actually send the data that we want to send with it, which is the status code is 401. So if you check the in here, it's also unauthorized is 401. I say if it user is equal to none, so it can be none, so I'll wait here. And I want to go yes dot json. Just put user there, but I want to also have status data. So if I come back here, if I try to okay, still loading. So can you see now? It gave me the data automatically. So that's how to get me. But now there's something called protected routes. Now this kind of route that require token. Now let us might not put anything here. I send it. It's unauthorized. Now this is actually guide inside my controller. Inside my controller here. This happened here inside my controller. This is not good at all. To have get to database. It's because we did not say that when I say no, that's not good. So that's where something called middleware comes in. You might have heard about that before. So if you come to middleware like this, there's something called Auth middleware. So now this guy is not correct the way it is here. Because equal to no or is empty. That is empty. So I would say now if it is not none, I'm going to comment. So now this Auth middleware is what I'm going to use here. I'm going to use here inside my routes, then Auth routes. It's the header space. So I'm going to, there's something called a keyword called use. You can see use middleware. So I'm going to just add the middleware there. The middleware is called Auth middleware like this. So adding it like this are the how to look like. What's that? Why is something I don't like. So another thing we can do is to have it as handler, yeah, which means it's going to be the one to undo it. So this is another way to have it. The same one. Now it's going to be the middleware. The first thing is going to get is middleware. Now if middleware is not correct, now you can see the request. It just does not send any message, it just send the back that it's not valid. So if I come here, before yeah, it send a message back that it's not valid, but now I just send it back. Now see, it just send that no formatted, but you are not authorizing to. So this is much more better because it does not get to our controller at all, talk less of our user. So it does not get to this place at all. So it has checked it first inside the middleware. So if it's not, look at what happened here. You check this guy here. So you take the bearer token. So if it is not, there's nothing inside of it and it doesn't have any value, it won't just come. It just say you are not there at all. You're not authorized at all. Just go back. Now, this actually makes sense because what we are doing. But now we should also bring, let's assume that we have a data here, maybe just anything. So it's just allow us to go there. So can still allow us to get there. Now that's where we should also have this guy also from here like this. So here, if it is empty, it is empty. Now if it is not empty now, If it is not empty, now if payload is none or according to ID is empty or the email is empty or the email is empty, so also is unauthorized. So let's try to send it again. Okay, it's still loading. So let's send it again. Can you see? So this work pattern now. So before it will go to our route, we are not trying to get the user from our middleware. We're not trying to go to the database in our middleware, so it's going to be fast. Before it goes to our route, we have checked this guy first. So we are aware that this guy has something called a ID and email. So we have decoded it first. We are sure that this guy have ID and email, even though we don't know the person that owns it, but we know that this person has ID and email. So even we can check the time, the date and time that if it is expired before we allow user to go. So how can we check that? Or okay, what we should use is even equal to none, then equal to none, so that and this is for milliseconds. Payload that is after if it's after today that expired. Dates, the time, time. So this is what we call middleware. And we're going to look at middleware later, shall we? Come here at all. So we are also done from login and authenticated routes.